problems to solve. I think that's when you get the confidence to do it. Otherwise, you just want to get away with one success under your belt, and that builds your confidence to do the next thing. Sometimes failures also funnel the same thing, same confidence. They say, well, I've tried to solve it, didn't work out. I didn't get too much beaten up for that, so I'm happy to now take the next one and move forward. But I think I go back to the same point. I'm saying, well, it is one thing to continually say what kind of solutions are we coming up with, what kind of products are we coming up with through the startups. The exposure that a lot of these guys get, be it a hackathon in Hyperloop or be it an exposure to certain large problems. I think our entrepreneurs are poised to step up to the challenge. I think they just don't know enough challenge. So they conceive of a challenge and start building a startup around that. And I think that's when they don't necessarily really bring the best to the fore. I think we really need to take that on in a big way, and with leaders like Umesh and other corporate leaders really throw larger and larger challenges. They are not agreed that they are going to give you some pointed solutions. Yes, that's unfortunately the case because you have only 20, 30, 40 people, but through larger challenges, I'm sure they will rise to the occasion. Maybe it is not just one startup, it is 5 startups that will come together and solve that large problem for you, Umesh. But I think that's how we challenge them, and that's how we build this ecosystem.
You're so right, Ravi. I think that is the real objective and idea what Aditya Birla Biz Labs is all about. On one hand, we are looking at as a large corporate, typically startups or the venture capitalists are scared for two things. One is what is the decision-making mechanism? And the second point is how much time will it take for their technology or their idea to get accepted in the organization. And I think through this BizLabs thing, we have tried to solve that by telling that in just 90 days, you will be doing a pilot with us. And it is a very, very structured program. And, and in order to bring credibility, people like yourself, as well as from VCs, we are putting them also part of the panel. So therefore, from a startup perspective, they can get an exposure, and even the likes of you and the VCs can get an exposure of all that. Now, the important thing what we do in this Aditya Birla Biz Labs program is we chart out or we mention what are our problem areas. I think problem statements by each of the businesses give startups the idea that what are all the real problems which a corporate has got. And I think, Ravi, what you mentioned is correct, that startups sometimes they don't know whether are they really solving a particular problem, or it is just there in their mind that this could be a problem. So that is the first thing which they have got. The second thing they have got is once they develop the product also, as Ravi was mentioning, they don't know where to go and do a pilot. And the third and the most important thing where the VCs come into the picture in terms of investment is how scalable are these. And I think the Aditya Birla Biz Labs program is actually addressing these three concerns. First, it is saying that these are the problem statements or the problem areas which I have got, and that we are quite specific and we mention upfront. Also in the program, we mentioned that if there are any other ideas you guys are working out, but it is not mentioned, please also mention, so that we may have missed out something which could be innovative and we don't know. But looking at that particular idea, we can think, oh, this can also fit into these kind of a problem. That is the first point. Second is the time taken. The decision making process is quite intense, as well as it is not that it is going to be taken only at the senior leadership position. The people who are actually shortlisting these startups who are going to work with them are actually the middle management guys who are responsible for implementation of these ideas, whether it is pilot or when they would like to scale up. Let's say there are various examples from our fintech program, Let's say a company like Waymo came up with the idea of how do we increase sales productivity in, let's say, financial services. They are completely integrated now in our with our financial services company, and they are Aditya Birla Capital, that is, and they are working with it. So what benefit would a startup get? Now, if you look at it today, our Aditya Birla Capital has got 40 million customers. So at one shot, if you want to get the problem solved for us, you are getting couple of things. One, you can be pan India because we have got many offices, many regional presence. And the second important thing is this idea is getting implemented at scale. So hence they get a huge advantage by associating or coming with us. So the important thing which Ravi raised was how does one identify what that problem statement is something we as corporates actually help the startups in narrowing down their thought process, saying that this is actually the problem which we are facing. Let's say there are certain, as you rightly said, there are certain problems which are unsolved. Let's say, how do I promote cross sell or upsell in financial services? Now a customer is taking a product, but in my financial services I have got 6 lines of businesses. Can I, how can I sell three more products to the same customer? Is there a digital mechanism to understand how is the customer thinking? What is the product design I can have which can enable to do these kind of cross sell? Or let's say in a retail format, in Aditya Birla fashion, the most important thing is how do I get footfalls? Okay, if a person is there in the vicinity of 100 meters, is there a particular technology which can enable me to and tell me that this is a loyal customer who is there in 100 meters radius, and how do I entice him to come to my store? So these are some of the problems which all our guys are always thinking about, and therefore we have launched this particular program of Aditya Birla Biz Labs, which actually gives this particular insight to even the startups that what kind of solutions are required by large corporates.